Hey, yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Three Stacks in this thing, baby, representing TKOG. You guys, they got me coping, bro. They got me mad coping. Not them releasing support for like one of my first pet decks. I was playing this deck in 2012 back in high school, and like it was Madolche, Fire Fist, Mermels, Spellbooks, Geargias. Like everybody was XYZ summon, and my homeboy was playing what are they called? Chronomalies. Me and him like played these as pet decks as like meta calls. We played the anti XYZ decks. Like we played the decks like that who literally were meant to counter the XYZ deck. I played blind second gimmick puppets, like, and then the ghost trick. I'm coping right now. This was like this was one of those formats where like you don't normal summon Snake Eye Ash and like you don't have a hand trap, you just lose. This is one of those formats where like you didn't even need to draw a hand trap and you'd be okay. Like it was the pace of the game was different. But you had the Ghost Trick rank 1 deck with the Mystic Piper. Where's Mystic Piper at? So like this deck was popular too with like Geargias, Fire Fists, Mermails. You had spell books. You had it was like a lot going on, to be honest. It really was. It was a lot. I think Dragon Rulers. Well, not in the area that I was in, but Dragon Rulers were pretty crazy too. So yeah, I was playing Gimmick Puppets way back then. That's when I built the deck. I remember getting my gold rare Drury dolls, my magnet dolls. I remember playing Gear Spring Spirit and like cards like Zombie Stein. I really played this deck. Like, I'm not like y'all. I didn't just see new support and then be like, hey, this is the first time playing the deck. Like, I seen the support and I said, hold up. Where my core at? I still had it too, bro. So this is not really like a deck profile. This is a template of just like, I'm not saying this is my build. This is a hypothetical experimental build. Like, the idea of this is like that this deck, like Tenpai and like Fire, can just play so much non-engine. I'm going to talk about the new support. So this deck, just so you guys know, if you guys didn't know, continually got random dumb cards for support. Never got a single starter. Didn't get any consistency boost. The best card that it had for the longest was Chimera Doll to search more bad cards. Gimmick Puppets, if you didn't know, and I don't want to see any stupid comments about Nightmare. Like, this deck is not Nightmare locking anybody. Like, we know Brandon uses that card, but Gimmick Puppets were not Nightmare locking anybody. They, like, you literally had, like, Egghead and Scissor Hands, and you were summoning, like, Dreary Doll and Magnet Doll, and you know what you were doing? You were summoning cards like Strings and Giant Grinder, and you were ranking them up. That's what you were doing. I felt like an anime character when I played this deck. Twilight Joker was one of the three ofs in my deck at that time. That's what just shows you what kind of format we were in. I was trying to summon Leo and win the duel. Like, you know what I was doing? I was like, you guys want to know how this card works? Like, so it just says you have to have no cards in your spell and trap zone, detach your material, place a destiny counter on this card. You cannot conduct your battle phase. You know what we were doing? We were playing like threatening roars and crazy stuff, just trying to like flip start, protect it, and then the next turn like detach. I was doing goofy stuff. They made new support that actually made this deck like it's top tier. it was an OTK deck, now it's an FTK deck. So let's talk about the actual starters they gave, starting with the elephant in the room, the Mansion of the Underworld dolls. Not them making a field spell that searches like they do for every deck and having a bunch of extra effects that it shouldn't have. I remember my days when I just had my humble dragon ravines. You know what I mean? And I did one thing. Like, I had one choice, which most of the time was just to add. That's it. Like, I remember when this card was getting hit on the ban list. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. But now we're at a point where, like, this is okay. When this card's activated, you can add one Gimmick Puppet monster from your deck to your hand. Gimmick Puppet monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. They're unaffected by your opponent's activated non-XYZ monster effects. Like, what are we? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing right now? Like, bro, like this is crazy. Like, nobody's really like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's putting up XYZs that are doing stuff like that. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we worried about Sprite? Like, so that's just broken for no apparent reason. Once per turn, oh, it gets better. It doesn't. That's not just it. Detach an XYZ material from a monster you control. Target a Gimmick Puppet in your graveyard. Special summon it to your opponent's field and defense. So this card is like, this is a card that I would put money into a vending machine and pray that it creates this for me. This is not okay at all. This card can get ashed. It doesn't matter. It's just like the Tempai Field spell. You just want it up to actually combo. And this card's better than the Tempai Field spell because your cards are always unaffected and you don't need to go to the battle phase anyways. The last effect is actually what makes this card like enabling an FDK even more. Because if you guys didn't know, Giant Grinder is a twice per turn to detach, target a special summon monster your opponent controls, pop it. If it's an XYZ, inflict damage equal to its original attack. This card is twice per turn. You can summon 2 in 1 turn. You can grind up an XYZ that you gave them, and then literally reborn the XYZ and grind it up again, which is just broken. So you can already see like they designed these cards to FDK. Your cards are unaffected by every hand trap except Infinite Impermanence. It's to the point where people are going to have to get kooky with it. If they don't want to die, they're going to start deciding Typhoons. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to get to that point where you're going to be like, please have another spell so I can Typhoon you. Like, this card is not okay. The next card is also not okay. This field spell is a 1-card combo. Now the deck has a 1-card combo. It had 4-card combos back in the day, and the 4-card combos summoned 2 XYZs and ranked one of them up. That was all it did. It was trash. This deck was dog water. So now we have Bloody Doll. If this card's in your hand, already not okay. You can reveal a Gimmick Puppet XYZ in your extra deck and special summon this card and a Gimmick Puppet monster from your deck whose level equals the revealed monster's rank. If this card sits in the graveyard, except from the hand, add it to your hand. Once per turn, dude. It's once per turn. Oh no, not it being once per turn. Dang. You can't special summon anything except Gimmick Puppets. They all do that. This deck is trash. It was trash. It's crazy now. So yeah, and the lock is specific to the extra deck. So you can play this engine to beat hand traps even better. Like, we'll talk about that later. Like how you can literally play like triple Reggie. So and that I think triple Reggie is kind of nice with like one field spell because like if you already had access to the mansion, then you can Pathfinder to this Coliseum into the Reggie, target Pathfinder, summon, activate field spell, and FTK your opponent with an Omni Negate. So that makes this even a better starter. Because if this were my list, I would say the best starter in the deck would be Pathfinder because it gets me access to the field spell. This deck does get extra normal summons. It does have quite a bit of ways to extend its combo. Yeah. So this card's not okay. This is, you know what this card reminds me of? A card that a lot of people miss. Circular. Yeah, good times, bro. So next up is Little Soldiers. This card is not okay. This card looks like he's up to some nefarious things, bro. If this card is a normal or special, you can send one Gimmick Puppet monster with a different level. Oh, no, it has to be a different level. God forbid. With a different level from your deck to your grave. This card reminded me of Scissorhands. If this card's level becomes that Simp monsters. So he could dump an 8, become an 8. You can only use this effect of him once per turn. You can banish this card from your grave. A lot of puppets have graveyard effects. Which is why, like, Condolence Puppet, if you're, like, a Giga Chad like me and you actually played this deck, because I guarantee you there's probably, like, 2 out of, like, 5,000 people that would watch this video that probably actually played this deck. If you were Giga Chad like me, you were blind second in Condolence Puppet, and you were dumping Terror Baby, Bisque Doll, and cards like this to say, you can't target my cards this turn, and you can't activate crap in response to them. So you can't even Impermon summon before I activate it. So, like, you literally get FTK'd with Condolence Puppet. So you can banish it from the grave, target up to 2 Gimmick Puppet monsters, increase their levels by 4. I wish it said increase or decrease. Dang, the cards are not good. So these are the new main deck cards outside of the Cattle Scream, which is pretty nice. So this card says you could detach an XYZ monster, a material from a monster you control, special them from your hand or grave, but banish it, but it never gets banished because it's an XYZ material all the time. You can only use this effect of Cattle Scream once per turn. A Puppet XYZ monster this is not okay, that has this card as material gains this effect. Once per turn, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to their field and defense. This is not okay, bro. If you get hand trapped, like, dude, it's just not okay. Like, this card turns off, like, Lightning Storm, Evilly, Imperm, Gamma. Like, it forces stuff, bro. This is also part of the FTK. This is crazy. This card is just not okay. And then I know this is a new support, but we have to talk about Terror Baby. This card is probably the most unfair card in the entire deck, and anybody that plays this deck has to play Terror Baby. I've seen people making funny little lists, and I knew they weren't playing Gimmick Puppets because they didn't even know about Terror Baby. This card, they have so many cards like this. They have like Humpty Dumpty, you know what I mean? Like Gear Changers, whatever, he's trash. Humpty Dumpty, Destroy, Terror Baby, a lot of clunky normal summon, Scissor Hands. When this card's normal summon, Reborn, and Gimmick Puppet Monster, except for Terror Baby. Not once per turn, by the way. You can banish this card from your grave. This is the good part. Banish this card from your grave. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Gimmick Puppet Monster effects this turn. But wait, there's more. Bisque Doll. You can banish this card from your grave. Your opponent cannot target Gimmick Puppet monsters with card effects. But wait, there's more. Your Gimmick Puppets are unaffected by freaking monster effects. It's a solitaire FTK, bro. Your opponent, if you just play this deck in open right, your opponent just might as well just scoop or watch you play with yourself for 5 minutes. Because that's all that's going to happen. They have like a DD Manhunt. You know, they got a nice little Snatch Steal that it can get multiples based on the XYZs you have. Its graveyard effect is pretty decent. Target an XYZ in either graveyard. Special summon it to either field. Not okay either. The engine's really small, so you see, this is just a template. You can play 15 hand traps and 6 cards to beat hand traps because you want to FTK your opponent going first or second. You play the 3 cross out, and that's why you play even the weird hand traps like Droll. You're playing the talent because you can cross out one hand trap, talent the other, or just say field spell. Hope you have Imperm, bro. A call by, and then this card is broken. It enables everything. The other new cards that they have are absolutely not okay. This card's actually exceptionally good. Fantastic's Machina. You can detach one material from this card, add one Rank Up Magic spell card from your deck to your hand. Also, during your main phase this turn, you can normal summon a machine in addition to your normal summon. You remember how I said Terror Baby's not once per turn? It's just so funny. Like, these cards are so funny. So, add a Rank Up spell for no reason, extra normal summon for no reason. If you special summon a Gimmick Puppet XYZ monster, ignore the other part. You can special summon this card from your graveyard to either field in defense position. Then you can add a Rank Up spell from your graveyard to your hand. Why? This card says, I'm going to FTK you. And then you have Fantastic's Machina, his ranked up version. And by the way, if you guys don't know who Quattro is, shoutouts to my boy. I watched the show. Quattro is the reason why I played puppets. I actually used to be a little bit of a cosplayer. And, yeah, you know what? It's a long story. We're not going to talk about it. So, I liked Quattro and his energy. He had mad, like, he was on demon timing. He had mad main character, villain, plot, like, energy. I liked him and I liked Kite. Those were my guys. Yeah, this looks like Quattro. I think they did that on purpose. This is his deck. They put respect on it. If this card special summon, add one puppet track from your deck to your hand. You can detach one material from this card. Special summon one monster from either graveyard to your opponent's field and defense. Why does it keep doing this? So you can grind them up and kill them. If a monster special to your opponent's field, target one of them, destroy, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half this original attack. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. And this card is everything. Like, if you just ban this card, maybe we can validate giving us all these good cards. It's just not okay. Yeah. And I think you would have to play the trap if you're building the deck, because if you're not able to FTK, you still want to be able to make this card and like make your inboard good. There's also rank up quick chaos, which is pretty nifty, which can dodge some targeting effects as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. They do have a very good link to that's kind of high-key broken. Takes 2 machines. That's why I was like, I'm going to play machine good stuff, and I'm just make Chimera Doll. How I used to play puppets was I played Machina Cannon and Fortress and Gearspring Spirit as a bunch of generic machine extenders and Therion King Regulus, and I was making Chimera Doll and like praying to God that it resolves. So if you control this link summon card, activate this effect. They always lock you from the extra deck. That's why none of your extra deck cards are non-gimmick puppets. It's just the best you can do for yourself. So what you do is you lock yourself, take a puppet from your deck, add it to your hand, or send it to the graveyard. Then, if all monsters you control are gimmick puppets, special one from your hand. So you could foolish special, or just take one and directly special summon it from your deck. This card is foolish. It's really insane. So yeah. Do I think that this deck is okay? I actually don't think that this is okay. I'm going to tell you guys something special about Condolence Puppet, right? So, this card doesn't get ashed because people just don't know what to do with this deck, and they want to hold ash for like the field spell or the rank 8, the level 8, which is valid. But like if you go second with this deck and activate Condolence Puppet, your opponent automatically loses the duel because you send Terror Baby and they lose. So something that is interesting to consider is any abundant amount of cards that can dump Terror Baby and Bisque Doll before even activating the field spell to just guarantee that you can play Solitaire. I think those are good ways to pivot in a direction where this FTK can be insulating every hand trap on top of having crossouts called by and talents. You know, you really do have like one of the most cancer FTKs in the format. Good luck. Have a wonderful day. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the point that we've reached. Enjoy, like and subscribe, tell your friends. Peace.